Welcome to Nintendo Ninja News. I'm your host, Chris Dices, and we're here to talk about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. The game has been out for, I would say, a couple weeks. So you can hear the nice sounds. So, I guess this video is all about what I think about it and all that sort of stuff. I've obviously played about 30 hours of it. So that's quite a bit for a week and a half. Now, it's pretty similar to the Wii U version, which is great because it was a great game on the Wii U. But I do like, and we'll talk about some of the additional stuff too. I think the battle mode has obviously been improved a lot. There's only 8 courses to choose from, but that's okay with me. I've played around with battle mode. It's pretty cool. I do notice that some of the maps are quite large, and I found myself having difficulties trying to hit enemies and things like that. It feels a little more chaotic than previous battle mode versions. For some reason, I'm not too sure why, but maybe I'm very rusty on it. But all the different ones, the cops and robbers mode game is pretty cool. Some of the other ones, or the favorites, the balloon popping one that I enjoyed the best, is still around and still plays very, very nicely. Some of the other options that I liked more was things like the smart steering and the auto acceleration, which I think is a good addition. And of course, some people wondering, and the complaints too of, it's on by default. I'm going to waste 3 seconds of my life turning it off. I think the mode is really good because Mario Kart is one of those games that should be accessed by everyone. There's been a couple stories of people who are disabled, who have disability issues, that can now play Mario Kart because they're not falling off the cliffs and the edges and the courses, and they can auto accelerate, which means that they're using less fingers. And some people, this might come as a surprise to you, but not everyone is born with 8 fingers and 2 thumbs. Some have things missing, and sometimes their index fingers are missing. And you're playing a shooting game or a first-person shooter, that really takes away the enjoyment of it, makes life more difficult. And also too, with young children, you can always get them to use the mini controller, as I like to call it, or the Joy-Con on the side. All they need to do, especially the young child or something like that, all they need to do is turn this. When those 2 features are on, the smart steering and the acceleration, the auto acceleration, is just moving that, press a big button to go hit things, hit mummy and daddy or the older brother in Mario Kart, and I think that they would really feel like they're involved in the game instead of, hitting their cart into the sides of the track and trying to accelerate, and they get upset and annoyed. So I think it's a really good idea that what Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has put in. The other differences between this and the original version on the Wii U is the 2 items. I do feel like it helps me more because you're not getting as many coins when you're in first place, the 2 gold coins, which is pretty annoying when you're trying to defend yourself. And obviously Mario Kart is very hard because if you get stuck in the pack, you do get clobbered a lot harder. So you got to try to get yourself out of it. I think the main aspect is its portability. It's just, once again, something that the Switch has an advantage over the other consoles. And it plays beautifully on a portable console. It just looks magnificent. And the step up from Mario Kart 7 was the last game you could play on the bus. Compared to this one, it's a massive, massive improvement. 240p screen to a 720 crisp screen. It plays beautifully in the TV. And it's hard to gauge. Obviously, when I started playing the game, I was playing really well online. And obviously, the grind has officially come now. A lot of the good players have come on, and that's made life a little difficult. But I have noticed that I'm playing a lot better now. I'm not too sure if it's because I've played like 100 to 200 hours of Mario Kart 8 on the Wii, and it's extremely similar. But I get a funny feeling that the controllers that I'm using are better. I think the Joy-Cons and the handheld mode is better than the gamepad because it always felt really bulky and just felt uncomfortable. I think the Wii U gamepad I enjoyed for games like Mario Maker, where you're obviously using it and you're resting on your lap. And the other game was Splatoon with the gyro. It was very easy for me to sort of lie back on the lounge and put the gamepad on my lap, and you just sort of steer it around like that a bit. And you could probably do the same thing with the Switch. With Mario Kart, it does do motion sort of controlling, sort of, that sort of stuff. But the Switch Pro controller works beautifully. It had no problems. It was just fitting on a glove and just heading out for the day. It was really, really easy. So this is definitely the definitive version of Mario Kart. I'd say give me 6 or 12 months and I would say it's my favorite version ever, because Mario Kart 7 is still number one for me because, I have a lot of great memories playing with friends socially and on the go, which was really, really cool. So I enjoyed it for that reason. The other thing too is its portability and all that sort of stuff. I'm really happy about that sort of thing. Online seems to be playing really well. A lot of people getting into it, tournaments and stuff like that. So I really am very pleased that this game has come out so early in the console's life. And it's definitely a game that I'll be continuing to play for a long, long time. Because it just plays really, really well. I think for nostalgia reasons, if there was a nostalgia list of Mario Kart games, Mario Kart 64 would still be number one because it really invented that 3D racing for the franchise, the battle mode, the blue shell, and all that sort of stuff. Yes, the game is still quite unfair that the AR rubber band is still there, but I still think there are ways to get past the blue shells and the red shells and that. There's sort of items that you can use and tricks and things like that. But I think for every time you get shafted towards the finish line and you go down from first to third or fourth or even worse, there's always matches where, someone else mucks up and you take advantage of that opportunity. So, every time that you get stuffed around in Mario Kart, there's probably times where you've, taken advantage of someone's ill fate of the blue shell or red shells, or they muck themselves off falling off a cliff and, you zoom ahead to win the match. I've nicked so many first places off, cutting corners and sort of effectively using the items to my advantage. So overall, it is a brilliant game. It's a must buy for the console. With Breath of the Wild for the Nintendo Switch, I think it's perfectly suited for it. And I'm very happy to keep on playing the game. It's going to be great fun. And I hope people rush out and buy it because it's definitely the must-play game for the Switch. I think now a little over Breath of the Wild because it's going to have a lot more longevity in terms of hours and social playing and things like that. I will note that when I did play the game wirelessly with a lot of Switches and 3DSs turned on in this Street Pass group, there was quite a few sort of communication errors. So maybe, I don't know, maybe because there's too many devices in the same room, but I hope that's something that's not an issue with the Switch in terms of if you have too many consoles in the same room, there's Wi-Fi interferences and things like that. But apart from that, it's run brilliantly, and I'm very, very happy with the results. So, there are my thoughts on the game. I'm extremely happy about it. Do tell us in the comments of, where you find this video on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube about what you think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is like. But I'm sure that the thoughts will be pretty positive about it. So, that's all my thoughts on the game, and I shall see you next time.